Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have something that is incredibly awesome to take a look at, something I've been waiting for forever, it seems, because it's one of my most anticipated models, I think, from Nanmu. This is their Triceratops. However, I only have one version of it here currently to take a look at. This one, I actually had all of them. They're all on their way, but they all shipped separately. And this is the only one that has arrived so far, which luckily was the Jurassic Park style version, as there are two other color schemes, and then there is also a sick Triceratops in the Jurassic Park color scheme. So I figured, as opposed to waiting for the others to arrive, I would review the Jurassic Park version, and then when the other two color schemes arrive, I'll review those two together, and then of course the sick Triceratops individually. I was intending on doing the sick Triceratops individually anyway, so it's not really all that big of a deal. We'll just have two reviews for the Triceratops, the normal walking version, as opposed to one. But as far as the box art here, you can see it displays an absolutely beautiful image of the Triceratops contained within. And in my opinion, one of the most impressive aspects about this model is the fact that Nanmu perfectly nailed, in my opinion, the appearance to the head sculpt of the Triceratops. And that's something that is very, very specific as far as a Jurassic Park Triceratops. Not so much Jurassic World. Jurassic World kind of altered the appearance of the Triceratops, but Jurassic Park, I felt like the Triceratops always had a very unique and specific look that I've never seen replicated anywhere other than Jurassic Park, so it always gave it its own really cool and nostalgic feel for me to have that kind of a head sculpt. And from the image here on the front of the box, I can see that Nanmu nailed that perfectly, which is one of the most exciting aspects of this model. I've been waiting a long time to get a really good Jurassic Park style Triceratops, but I feel like I've been waiting even longer to get one that has a really good, head sculpt that looks correct to what we saw in the film. But you can see that as far as the box art goes, it pretty much looks like your standard Nanmu box art with a beautiful image again of the Triceratops. And then up here on the top, you can see the Nanmu logo as well as Heavy Lane. And then on the back, it's just, again, the usual stuff, the Nanmu logo, and all of the information down here on the bottom. So let's go ahead, break this out of its box, and take a look at it. So straight away, we have the awesome art card that is always included with these Nanmu releases, and you can see an incredibly nice image here of the Triceratops walking down toward a watering hole, and we can also see that there are two Apatosaurs down there in the water. That also kind of promotes the Apatosaurus from Nanmu, which is another of my favorite Nanmu figures, but you can definitely see that the image here as far as this artwork goes is gorgeous as always. And then we get to the back, and this, in my opinion, is always my favorite area of the Nanmu art cards because I just absolutely love the hand-drawn images that are here on the back. That kind of like pencil art type look. It always reminds me of something that Crash McCreary would have drawn, and this just looks absolutely beautiful. As always, an incredible addition to this set. And then we have our base for the Triceratops right there, as well as one horn. And then the second horn I actually have already placed onto the Triceratops when I just opened it a moment ago. And I can tell you with complete honesty, this thing is so unbelievably beautiful. I am just blown away by the incredible beauty of this Triceratops. You always wonder just how good the actual factory-produced model will look in comparison to the prototype, and man, Nanmu is like one of the very few companies that I can say consistently produce models that look pretty much just as nice as their prototypes do when it comes to their actual releases. This thing is just incredible looking here as far as, of course, the sculpt. The sculpt is just beyond gorgeous, but the paint job as well is really, really nicely done. I don't think there's anybody at this point that can argue the fact that Nanmu is leading the charge as far as not only Jurassic Park or Jurassic World inspired dinosaurs, but just generally the overall quality of their models. But this thing, again, just looks fantastic. I'm really psyched to get a closer look at it, so let's go ahead and just do that right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of our Triceratops, again, you can really see what I was saying about the very trademark kind of a look of the head sculpt of the Triceratops in comparison to the way it appeared in Jurassic Park. And man, did Nanmu ever do an incredible job of matching this up, in my opinion, perfectly. Like the kind of elongated look to the Triceratops was always something that I really enjoyed when I was younger. It just always gives me such a nostalgic feel looking at that type of a Triceratops. And again, I've waited years to get a nice interpretation of that Jurassic Park Triceratops, and I finally now have it here thanks to Nanmu. But you can see that the actual texturing to the skin and everything looks incredible. Like, it is really nice and very vibrant detailing to the head sculpt here of the Triceratops, which is something that you always find on a Nanmu model. The nostrils are sculpted there. You can see they are nicely painted with a darker coloration, highlighting them quite beautifully. The beak as well is honestly just as insanely highly detailed as the rest of the Triceratops. Like, you can just see tons and tons of really nice detail within the beak area, and there's quite a few different tones of color included in the beak area. It's all nicely dry brushed to make the detail pop and show you just how much work was put into that. You can also see the tongue inside the mouth there. It's a little hard to get in there as the mouth isn't really open all that wide, but it definitely looks really nice. It's painted with a nice kind of a purplish coloration. And then if you come back here, you can see the detailing around the eye is incredibly well done, but the eye paint itself is just off the charts incredible. That's another area of the Nanmu models that I feel like nobody even gets close to touching, is the eye paint. And the eye paint always just looks so realistic with so many different tones of color. Like, you can see white in there, kind of a black ring around the yellow coloration, as well as the black pupil, and it's glossed to perfection, just looking super, super lifelike and realistic. As you lead up into the horns of the Triceratops, again, just like with the beak, the detailing is just off the charts incredible. You could see so much detail included within the horns of this Triceratops, so many cracks and crevices and everything, just kind of imperfections in the horn, and it just looks super, super realistic. And it's painted beautifully with tones of browns and grays, and given some really nice dry brushing so that all of that detail pops in a very nice, very realistic way. As you lead up into the frill of the Triceratops, the spikes that run around the frill are also beautifully painted, again kind of dry brushed with a light gray or an off-white. And just like the horns up here on the head of the Triceratops, the detailing aspect of those as well is just incredible. The scale detail running throughout the entire frill area of the Triceratops is also just off the charts gorgeous. You could see like some osteoderms and everything all over the place. It just looks so beautiful, and the way it's painted is incredibly well done, incredibly realistic, and very reminiscent of the Triceratops from Jurassic Park. You can even see like some nice lighter browns kind of creeping in between the scales as you look through the entire frill area. It is just unbelievable is the word that I can only use to describe this. And you can see that as we run down the length of the other side of the frill, it looks just as gorgeous over here as it did on the initial side. And of course, we do have different horns that we can put in. This one is the one that I personally really like because it's something unique that you don't see often, and something that I really, really do enjoy is the fact that you can give it a broken horn, which would probably be a very realistic aspect of a Triceratops when it were alive. So I really enjoy the fact that they can give you a broken horn here, and you can see that as far as the broken horn goes, the actual detailing aspect of that as well looks incredible. The actual break area and everything just looks fantastic. Like, it looks really, really legit and super realistic. The head sculpt over here as well looks just as nice as it did on the previous side. So in other words, it looks incredible from every vantage point you look at it. As you come down here into the throat region, you can see kind of like some hanging skin and everything, which is really beautifully painted. You can see again some tones of browns and kind of like a really light dry brushing that makes each and every scale pop, and you can really take note to just how incredible like the skin wrinkles and skin folds and everything are as you move along the neck region of the Triceratops. As you continue to move into the body of the Triceratops, you see that really nice bulky look to that front leg, as well as the really nicely displayed muscle tone, some more nice osteoderms, and again, that's something that is definitely reminiscent of the Triceratops from Jurassic Park, as it does have quite a bit of like an osteoderm or scute-like appearance throughout the entire body. And you can definitely see that that is present really nicely throughout the sculpt of this Triceratops. Beautiful skin wrinkles there in the joint of the leg. As the leg is picking up, you have a really nice natural looking curve there in the wrist area. Very nicely sculpted out foot, beautifully painted nails. The nails are given a bit of a gloss coat, even a little dry brushing over top to give them even more paint variation. Again, Nanmu always goes the absolute extra mile to give us an incredible paint job with the incredible sculpt we receive. You could see more really nice wrinkling and stuff right there in the skin. Beautiful dry brushing that's been applied, really making all the scale detail pop throughout the entire figure up here in the upper area of the body as well. As you lead up here into the top of the Triceratops, again, you can see those kind of scoots that I was talking about. That's something that's very trademark to the Jurassic Park style Triceratops. And you can also see that the spinal column is nicely displayed in the sculpt, and I love how within each of the kind of creases and everything of the skin, even though it's darker up here, you can see like that lighter brown within the creases of the skin. It just looks super nice and giving it even more color variation. As you move down the side of the dinosaur, you can see that the actual texturing to the skin is probably some of the nicest texturing I've ever seen to a dinosaur model. Like, it is just incredible. The amount of work that was put into this is just insane to see such beautiful results with so much detail throughout. You can see again the osteoderm, scutes, and everything all over the place just look incredible, as do the actual scales themselves. And the really nice skin wrinkling. Like, you can see a lot of really nice movement here in the Triceratops right there in front of the thigh. And another thing that really impresses me is how we have like this darker coloration, like almost a black, that dry brushes throughout the entire figure, but then it transitions to a really light coloration for the dry brushing. But the transition here between the darker and lighter is so smooth. Like, you would think you would see like a dramatic cutoff as far as where they stopped dry brushing with that and then started with the lighter coloration, but that is not the case. It's just such a smooth and very realistic transition, even when it comes to the dry brushing. Super impressive. As you lead down here into the underside of the Triceratops as well, again, the detail does not cease anywhere. You can see that the underside also is incredible as far as the detailing aspect goes. Just beautiful in every way, and really nicely dry brushed down here as well, so that each and every scale pops gorgeously. Back up here into the thigh area, you can see again some really nice muscle tones, some more of those kind of scutes and osteoderms, as well as some gorgeous paintwork and really nice dry brushing, bringing out each and every ounce of detail that is present on the model. You can see the kneecap is present here in the front of the Triceratops, as well as some really nice musculature here in the calf region. And then moving down here into the foot, again, the foot looks great, very nicely painted nails, nice creasing of the skin right there. We move back up here into the tail. Again, you can see lots of really nice movement as far as the tail and thigh kind of interacting there and wrinkling the skin. It just looks incredible there as well. And then the underside of the dinosaur, as we get closer to the tail area, you can see becomes like a really rough kind of a texturing. It looks really nice as well. Lots of creasing and everything going on here as you run out the length of the tail. But it also looks gorgeous up here. Again, that paintwork is just fantastic. You have those osteoderms or scutes that run along the entire length of the tail, and then we end in a really nice kind of a thicker tip, which is again something that I feel like is very reminiscent of the Jurassic Park Triceratops. So they really captured pretty much every ounce of accuracy as far as screen accuracy to this Triceratops. Over here you can see a little bit of the detailing here in the neck as far as like the creasing and stuff, but since the Triceratops has its head turned to the right, you don't see it quite as easily as you can on the opposing side. You can see the back of the frill though does look really nice as far as the scale detail and everything. It just looks incredible back there as well. It's just a little harder to get to, but you can see that again as far as the detailing aspect here in the body goes, it looks just as incredible as it did over on the opposing side. And here straight away with this front leg, you can really see how much the dinosaur is putting its weight on that front leg, and again they've perfectly shown that in the sculpt as far as displaying the tensing of the muscles. Even coming all the way up here into like the shoulder area, you can just really see how much weight is bearing on that front leg as the opposing leg is lifting up off of the ground. This one leg is supporting the entire front half of the Triceratops, and Nanmu made sure that you see that within the sculpt. And that's one thing that I can always commend Nanmu about, is making sure that they hit every ounce of detail, whether it's just like the texturing to the skin or the movement of the body or even the muscles tensing depending on what is exactly holding up the animal. That is just incredible. Again, as you lead down there into the foot looks fantastic. You see a really nice foot sculpt with the beautifully painted nails, given a nice gloss coat like we had seen on the previous side. Lots of really nice detailing here in the stomach region over here as well. Again, lots of nice skin wrinkles. You can see the skin stretching off of the body beautifully as this leg is pulling back. You can kind of see the skin bunching up right there as this leg is sort of pushing into the body a little bit. And again, the actual texturing to the skin is insane, and the paintwork is just as beautiful. Again, such a really smooth transition right here in this area as far as the kind of transition between different versions of dry brushing. But the detailing aspect over here is just phenomenal. As you get back here into the thigh, you can see more wrinkling going on, some more creasing in the thigh region as far as the skin showing the movement of the thigh. And then you can lead down the length of the leg here, see some more really beautiful muscle tone displayed in the thigh and calf region, but it's not quite as flexing as we had seen on the previous side because this leg as well is starting to pick up off of the ground. Beautiful kneecap present over here again, and then you have the really nice foot sculpt over here with the beautifully painted nails. And then you lead up here into the tail. You can see some more nice creasing kind of showing the movement yet again as far as the dinosaur goes, and the skin reacting right there as far as the thigh kind of reacting with the movement of the tail. But we have that beautiful tail as we lead out to that really nice tip. And again, every ounce of this Triceratops is so unbelievably highly detailed, whether it's the sculpt or the paint. This thing is the total package, and without question is the definitive version of a Jurassic Park Triceratops. There's just no competition for that. And then we have the other horn, which I'm still unsure if I'm actually going to use this one or the broken one. Probably the broken one, just because I really like that aspect of the model. But you can see that this horn as well is just as incredible as everything else related to this model. It is beautifully sculpted and beautifully painted. Absolutely fantastic. And then we have a base as well, and the base just kind of almost appears to be like a sandy or a muddy type of an area, more of like a sandy look, I would say, as far as like the coloration goes, but definitely really nicely detailed, quite beautifully painted with many variations of color included. The underside has a nice black appearance to it, but the base itself is just a really cool addition to the set. You can kind of see like the area where the Triceratops had landed its feet, so we kind of have like footprints sort of. So the base is really, really nice, but the Triceratops is obviously the star of the show, and man, is this thing incredible. And then once your Triceratops is on its base, everything ties together beautifully, and it just looks absolutely awesome. As far as a size goes, as far as a length goes from the tail to the beak area, you were looking at about 11 inches or about 28 centimeters. And then for a height, you were looking at about 5¼ inches or about 13 and a half centimeters. For a size comparison, here is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line in comparison to our Nanmu Triceratops. And you can definitely see that the Triceratops does sport a really impressive size. And although the Paporex is obviously Jurassic Park inspired, we can definitely see that the size comparison here is showing us that Mr. Paporex better not dare try to take down that Triceratops, or he is about to probably get a horn right there in the throat. But definitely a really nicely sized figure. And then for a second size comparison, here is the Nanmu Giganotosaurus next to the Triceratops. And you can see just how impressive the Giganotosaurus is as well. But the Giganotosaurus obviously really quite towers over the Triceratops, even though the Triceratops does still sport quite the impressive size. And for even yet another comparison, here is the Papo Triceratops next to the Nanmu Triceratops. The Papo Triceratops would have been my previous first choice as far as kind of a Jurassic Park inspired Triceratops, but clearly the Nanmu one just completely obliterates the Papo one as far as capturing the overall accuracy of a Triceratops from Jurassic Park. In both, of course, the sculpt, paint, everything is just far superior when it comes to the Nanmu version, but hopefully the comparison here will help to give you a good idea, yet again, of the fact that the Nanmu Triceratops does sport a really nice size. And then as far as the horn goes, to remove the horn, you just have to pull this right out of the hole. You've got a little slot there, and then you can take the other horn and slide that in there as well. And then you've got yourself your Triceratops with both of its horns looking really nice and pretty without any type of prior damage to the horns. So no matter which way you go, whether it's the very nice healthy horn or the broken horn, this Triceratops looks great either way. So this brand new 2021 Nanmu, obviously Jurassic Park inspired Triceratops, is a dream come true if you are a fan of the Jurassic Park Triceratops, and I certainly am. Again, I've wanted a really good version of this dinosaur literally for years, since I would say probably when Jurassic Park came out. I've always wanted a really, really nice version of it. The closest to this point would have been, as far as like a highly detailed model goes, I would say would probably be the Papo Triceratops, or you could go with the old Kenner toy. But as far as a really nice, very highly detailed and beautifully painted model, this Nanmu Triceratops annihilates anything that has come before it, and in my opinion will probably be the best and definitive version of a Jurassic Park Triceratops for many years to come, if not permanently at this point. I don't know, because this thing is just unbelievably beautiful. Nanmu has captured every ounce of accuracy in the sculpt of this Triceratops. From what I can recall from Jurassic Park, this looks picture perfect, unquestionably. One of the hardest things, I think, for sculptors to really capture is that very trademark head sculpt to a Jurassic Park Triceratops, because although I've seen, many attempts before, even including the Papo Triceratops, I've seen so many attempts at trying to create that really nice screen-accurate Jurassic Park-style Triceratops, and I really don't think it's been captured perfectly prior to this. People have gotten really close, but I feel like this is so perfect, it is ridiculous. It is so unbelievably awesome looking. And as far as the sculpt, again, it's insanely highly detailed, showing every ounce of movement that would be occurring with the dinosaur at the point in time that it is in this position. Nanmu has captured all of that perfectly as well. Of course, the detailing aspect is really nice, very vibrant, just incredible detail all around. The positioning of the body is really nice, really natural, nothing over the top, flashy, or crazy. I just feel like it's a perfect positioning for the Triceratops to just kind of be walking along really nice and naturally. The paint job as well is fantastic. Again, perfectly matching up to a Jurassic Park Triceratops, in my opinion. And as usual, Nanmu just applies such a perfect looking application of the paint. Like, it's so nice, so realistic, and they've done a great job as far as like dry brushing every ounce of detail out in the sculpt. Just everything pops so beautifully on the model, and the transitions between colors is so smooth and so realistic. They always blow my mind with each and every model they release when it comes to just how good the actual paint application can look. And this Triceratops follows straight in that direction as far as absolutely blowing me away and looking incredible in every way. And then you have the fact that you have a really cool base, which kind of appears to have like a sandy type of an area, almost similar to what we see on the card, where it sort of looks like it's approaching a watering hole. And that's kind of like this sandy type of an area next to the water, which I really quite like. And then you also have the fact that you can replace like the healthy horn with a broken horn, and I really love that aspect because it's something that definitely would have been a realistic aspect of a Triceratops when it was alive. So any ounce of realism with a model I'm all for, and that's something you don't often see, is kind of the broken horn type gimmick on Triceratops models. So I'm a huge fan of the fact that Nanmu has given us the ability to have the broken horn, or even have it with like the healthy horn, so you really get the best of both worlds when it comes to that. So this Triceratops is 1000% the total package when it comes to a Jurassic Park Triceratops. It is just incredible in every possible way. I highly, highly recommend picking this up if you are a Jurassic Park fan, or even just a Triceratops fan. This thing is just off the charts gorgeous. So if you are interested in picking this up, I will include a link in the description to Dan's Dinosaurs, where you can head on over there and purchase yourself this beautiful Nanmu Triceratops. And once my other Triceratops arrive, I will have reviews up of each and every one of those as well. So keep checking back for those. Make sure you are subscribed, you've hit that notification bell so you stay up to date on all of my videos, and so you also don't miss the other Nanmu reviews when those Triceratops arrive. And make sure to give the video a thumbs up, as that always helps the channel out greatly. And as always, I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.